Hey, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. And we're coming towards the end of another week. So, with that in mind, we're going to be moving on to our, I believe we're going to try and close off the whole speech aspect of Derech Eretz this week, which means you can't really talk about halachas and Derech Eretz and speaking without talking about Lashon Hara. So, it's everybody's familiar with it, going around saying, "Oh, did you see what that guy did? Have you heard what that person said?" Right. So the more basic aspects of lashon hara, everyone's really familiar with. So I really don't feel the need to cover it in the course of this situation. As we start going into derech eretz as well, and really the deal starts. That means we're going to try and touch on some more of the gray areas of lashon hara. And so, with that in mind, right, let's talk about what you're allowed to say positive, or rather, what you're not allowed to say that might be considered positive about somebody else, and how that could be considered lashon hara. Right. So, because we have to be very careful with our speech in general. So, first off, right, we have within Chumash it talks about, we don't talk about the background or the past of a ger or Baal Tshuva. Why? Because in that situation, reminding them where they came from and not necessarily acknowledging for them for who they are today. So, on one side of it, and there's plenty of psak behind it. Let's say you have someone who's a ger tzedek. They're allowed to acknowledge the fact that they're a ger tzedek, right? Some of them are outright proud of it, and therefore they should. And everyone says, yes, it's a kiddush Hashem. You should speak about the fact that that you chose to be makabel Torah mitzvahs, even though you weren't born a Jew. That's an amazing, wonderful thing. But let's say someone doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want people to know the fact that they're a ger. In that situation, even though it's something positive, it's something good, it's something amazing, it might still make that person feel uncomfortable, right? Not that they necessarily have anything to hide, but we don't know. We don't know what their background is. We don't know what brought them to it. And if they want to broach and open up that conversation, they're welcome to do so. But if they don't, leave it be, right? And that's that's on halacha. That's a deoraisa, right? By a Baal Tshuva, right? Even using the term Baal Tshuva, we use it so much left and right, and Chazal says, a tzaddik can't stand where a Baal Tshuva stands. It's a wonderful thing too, right? Um, we still have to be very careful about it, because by calling someone a Baal Tshuva is to actually directly imply that person did averas, that person did not follow by Torah and mitzvahs for whatever reason. And so it creates this very gray area. But, fine, you check with your Rav on that one. But there's another idea as well, right? Let's say, we're not even talking about somebody's past, someone's accomplishments, someone's current accomplishments, right? An example which I managed to find on the website yeshiva.co, right? Great site. And the concept was kind of paraphrased there that, let's say somebody, married guy, and he passed, he finished off medical school. He's a doctor, and for whatever reason, he doesn't want everyone to know that he passed and he finished and everything else like that. But his wife, being so proud, she goes around telling everybody anyways. So the question is that lashon hara, right? The fact of him passing, becoming a part of, part of the medical organization, right? It's something to be very proud of, especially in today's day and age, right? We need more doctors. Everyone's being flooded. But there's psak that what she did, and this is based upon the Chafetz Chaim of Hilchos Lashon Hara, that it's avak Lashon Hara, right? It's like a dust, basically. It's got a taste of it. It's got a hint of it, and therefore we still have to be aware and and very cautious in these sorts of situations. We can also find very much a similar situation, somebody who did a very big chesed, someone who has a lot of money and he gives a lot of money to tzedakah, someone who saved a life, whatever it may be, and they don't want the fame, they don't want the glory. You know what? Mentioning, yes, a person did something, and then we get to hear these amazing stories of people in general who got to help others. That's a wonderful thing. But to speak about the individual and the individual's actions, that could be bordering on lashon hara, at the very least, it's avokat lashon hara if they don't want people to speak about it. So it's just something to keep in mind, right? Something to be aware of. And even if it's a public action, it's still something that we have to keep in mind and be aware of. And especially during this time right now, right? We have, on one hand, yeah, we have coronavirus. I called it out by name. I think that's the first, maybe second time in all these years. But we're also in the 3 weeks, right? And, sinas chinam and lack of kavod and everything else like that. No, we have to focus. How can we actually be more kavodic towards one another? And one of the easiest ways, right? There's a taiva for it. Lashon hara is considered a taiva. It's a taiva that people can work on. So especially during this month, let's work on it. And whenever I say, by the way, let's work on this during this time, if I ever do come up with it, use that phrase in the future. So like, oh, let's use this as a time while we got this going on. No, let's use this as a focal point so that we don't have to continue to work on it in the future. Meaning, let's learn, let's grow, and let's remove the habit. Once the habit's removed, hopefully it's gone forever, and we're able to then focus on other things to move forward with. Anyways, I wish everyone a safe, wonderful week, a good Shabbos. Be well.